Well, shalom. This is Passover Eve night, and I'm here with RJ, and we were just thinking about what it was like on the first Passover back in the day, way back in the day. Clearly, the Most High instructed Moses to communicate this message to the people with excitement. They were finally leaving Egypt forever and going to the promised land. A promise that God had made to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But they had to move fast. What do you think about that, RJ?
I'm just thinking about how it's crazy, just like how many years have passed and
Yeah. Imagine yourself waiting for freedom. And, that night they would eat unleavened bread, have their clothes on, because after the death angel passed through Egypt, it would come through their town. But every town that had the blood of the Lamb, which was 1 year old without spot and wrinkle and unblemished, and expected for those 3 days. If you have that over, pause it. Pause it. RJ, I'm so glad you're here to help me with this. Uh, by the way, how many Passovers have you think you've attended in your life?
um, I think 8 because I'm pretty sure like 8 or 7. Pretty sure I started when I was 3 or 4.
Okay, that sounds about right. And what is your favorite part of Passover?
This
It's, it's
like
tough.
refilling the wine.
Refilling the wine. You mean grape juice, right?
Grape juice.
Okay, all right.
But they call it wine.
Well, there was a incident. I think your fourth or fifth Passover where you got the wine and grape juice confused. You remember that?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So I don't even really remember this, but I hear him a lot saying how I got the grape juice and wine mixed up. So I grabbed the actual liquor's wine and drunk it, and then apparently I got drunk. So I don't
Yes.
even.
And that was the last time we served wine since then. I don't drink myself, but we don't.
It's nasty. It's like it doesn't taste
What'd you keep drinking for? Was
good.
that
No, I just tasted it.
okay?
I
No, you did
wasn't
more
trying to
tasting,
drink it. I wasn't trying to drink it. I just
right?
have tasted it.
But you thought it was grape juice.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
And it's strong.
I had a similar experience uh, when I was 19. My first Passover.
Dang.
Yep. I had a bottle of Manischewitz wine in this hand. No, in this hand. And I had a leg of lemons in.
Why do you even get both of them?
I don't know. But I didn't understand back then. I just thought it was a party. I said, we should have more of these parties more often. I passed out, and of course, the host thought I ruined the whole thing. And I always jokingly say, that's the day the Most High called me. That's when I received my calling. So that kind of reminded me when you got drunk off the wine. I got drunk off the wine, and we both received our callings.
Mm,
My name is RJ.
yeah,
I'm Ronald Jr. Your name is RJ.
yeah.
So we have a lot in common.
People like ask me where does the J come from, and I just say like Ronald Jr. Even though I'm not the absolute junior.
Well,
I'm the fourth.
here's the thing. I remember you were prophesied. But that kind of tickles me. But anyway, back to the Passover. I'm sorry, went down a rabbit trail there, but this is like the fourth generation person that has to be taught how to do the Passover and how to lead, the family into this ceremony. Um, and one of the things that stand out to me about the Passover, they had to have their staffs in hand, and literally the Bible said they had to have their staffs in hand. A staff like this one. Okay, no, I'm saying I knew that. I'm saying, but literally, you have to have a staff in hand. That's kind of why I have the staff. So, soon as they got ready, soon as they done with their meal, they had to be ready to go. And I've always thought and pictured the Exodus in my mind how it would go down. And when I start looking at it, Isaiah, I think 11 verses 11, that changed because I realized this would come around a second time. I found out there was a second Exodus. Literally about 20 years later, and I had read over it several times. So uh, maybe I'll be alive for that second Exodus. Maybe I won't, but you will be. And you make sure you lead your people, your family members, to the promised land, like Moses did. Uh, One of the unique things about Passover is it's something that most people think that saves them. Passover doesn't save you. Okay, uh, the symbolism and the personality that it's talking to. If you get to know that person and develop a personal relationship with him, that'll save you. Okay, but just going to a Passover and going through the ritualism of it, that won't save you. Uh, there's only one who saves. Okay, his name is Yeshua Hamashiach, the one who is, was, and is to come. Now, with that being said, RJ, would you read a couple? I'll hold this for you. Can you read a couple of verses for me?
Yes, I will.
Can you read out loud?
Yeah. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them concerning the feasts of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations. Even these are my feasts. 6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest and holy convocation.
Let's
Yea,
stop right there. Now this 7 day is not referring to the weekly Shabbat. Okay, this is a feast day. So no matter what day the feast day lands on the calendar, okay, it's going to always be a high Shabbat. So the feast day lands on a Monday, Tuesday, I always like to say, I like to word it and phrase it as the Bible speaks of it. Yahweh didn't call it a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Remember, he never named the days, he numbered them. So, we know Sunday's the first day, Monday's the second day, Wednesday the third day, Thursday the fourth day. I'm sorry, Wednesday's the fourth day, Thursday the fifth day, Friday the sixth day, and the Sabbath day is the seventh. Sorry for the interruption. You know, people they want our attention while we're in the middle of something. Keep reading. Start it. Start it up.
I was right here.
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
Go up. Go up. Start it up. You can't see the scripture.
It was yay.
See if you can do it.
No, you can't. You gotta scroll.
Okay. Right there. Go back where you can go.
I was right here. I know.
He's an RJ.
Yea shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwelling. These are the feasts of the Lord.
Cover this. So it's a Sabbath day in all your dwellings. So wherever you find those who uh, practice, in this case, who register their sins on the altar. Okay, that's what made you become a citizen in Israel or Hebrew back then. Yearly, you bought your sacrifices and you put them on the altar and you trusted Yeshua. Well, I say Yahweh, but Yeshua was the sacrifices that died on the altar.
Dang it, turn off. which ye shall proclaim in their seasons, in the 14th day of the first month, at even is the Lord's Passover. And on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto the Lord. 7 days ye must eat unleavened bread.
Okay,
Unleavened.
11.
What is?
So you know what unleavened bread is?
Is it? It's not the matzah, is it?
It's a masa, but what does it have in it?
Um, salt.
It doesn't have. No, it doesn't have the yeast in it.
Oh,
Okay, and the yeast is representative of sin. But notice it said on the 14th day. Okay, so
14.
if you take a look at Exodus, you don't have to go there, but if you take a look at Exodus 12 and Deuteronomy 16, it clearly tells you on the 10th day, select the lamb from the flock. It tells you what type of lamb. I went through that. Okay, and most importantly, in Exodus, it tells us Yahweh chooses the place to slaughter the lamb of worship. Excuse me. So this is the place that He chose for us to do this year. This is why we're here. I have no clue. Sometimes it gets late in the game where I don't know what He wants us to do, but He's always faithful, whether it's a week before or 5 days before, and sometimes even 3 days, calls us close. But He's always selected a place for us to have Passover. Why this particular place? I don't know. It's our job to follow Him and obey Him. So the 14th day. Uh, Actually, the 14th day was Tuesday, and we are. Let's see. Today's the 17th. Yes, today's the 17th,
yeah.
and it's around what 12:30, 12:40, and when the sun goes down this evening, the lamb will be slaughtered, and we'll start our Passover meal or Seder. Yeah, Seder. Uh, it's more than just a meal. Seder means order. There's order to it. And RJ's never really been on camera. And I think for his first, he's ever been on camera before.
Well, yes,
Yes,
just
yes.
not like this.
Yeah, not like this, yeah. So I think he did a pretty good job. Give him a round hand of applause. He's a very uh, wise, intelligent young man who understands spiritual things. And I look to him, as a future leader, which was a lot of responsibility, and it requires, a person, with tough skin, who doesn't allow other people's opinions.
No, not like I do, but
Uh,
like at the same time I don't.
right. Yeah, I get that. What you like, 10 years old, but 11. So he's 11 years old. He's ready for his first uh, trial. You know, uh, he's being trained to be one of our judges. Imagine that, 11-year-old judge. But Samuel was a young judge. You know, Samuel did it. Why can't RJ do it?
How old is
And, we don't know. Samuel was his mother weaned him and took him uh, to the priest, to Eli,
Yeah.
because he dedicated him, to the house of the Lord. So age is not a number. You had 8-year-old king, I think it was a Josiah. Uh, so let's not look at age all the time, But it's what he believes. He's been prepared all his life. He's someone who's familiar with Torah and law and the community guidelines. Um, he's familiar with the things he needs to understand, and we'll just have to pray for him and ask the Most High to lead him and direct him in the things he needs to be. Uh, he needs to do to please the Most High, right?
Yeah.
Is that who you trying to please?
Yep.
Amen. So we're gonna hold right there. I'd ask RJ to go ahead and say a prayer for us so we get out of here, and we'll be back. Shalom.
All right. Bye, guys.